Alright, so we're ready for US's next turn. Japan bought 10 infantry, another bomber, so we got another airplane we got to worry about, and 2 artilleries. So, um, one of the positive things that I'll say is he's built 12 ground, 1 air, 13. So 25 ground and 1 air this turn. So round 11, he built 25 ground, 1 air. I built 8, matched his air, 12, plus a transport, and I'm going to be building 14 ground. So I'm going to have a tiny bit more ground, tiny bit more ground added in versus him. So that's that slight balance that we're looking at now. The downside is he did take India forcefully enough that we're not going to be able to do some tank blitz and air raids effectively against him. So India is now his. Thankfully, we do get some African defense troops already up and running, and I am going to bring one more set down to them at least, just so that we get an artillery down there as well. And we're going to try and keep our American Air Force down in this southern part so that they can strike any of the provinces off the Red Sea while we're bringing the ground up to the front line. So hopefully we're going to be able to put up a pretty good fight in Africa for a while at the very least. Hopefully just long enough for us to take Berlin. So this is the turn I'm kind of deciding I want to go ahead and shift to, instead of West Russia Kazakhstan, we're going to go to Kazakhstan. Still going to keep the Kazakhstan, but having both of these here helps dead zone Persia more. We'll still be able to dead zone Novo. We'll even be able to put a little bit of pressure on these guys. We won't be able to dead zone Ukraine. If I abandoned Kaz and brought everything into Caucasus, I could dead zone Ukraine. But we're kind of close with what I'm going to be doing, but he could still pretty easily stack Ukraine if he so chooses. I kind of suspect if I move here, he's going to move up to Belarusia to cut off the Karelia intake, in which case after that I'll shift back up to West Russia, no longer be trading this, keep enough down here to keep Persia dead zoned, and then hopefully the best he can be doing is trading Karelia and Ukraine for a little bit until I move into Karelia and then Baltic and then. So that's kind of what my plan's looking like. I don't know, maybe I should have done the Caucasus a lot earlier, but with him now having 7 damage on the Russian factory, I just hate keeping and repairing and having to build guys there because I don't have my 4 production spots down here. So maybe this is the wrong move, maybe it's the right move. I don't really know. Maybe I should have done it earlier. But whatever it is, we're going to do it now. That being said, I'm also going to set up a little headache for him up here in the north as well. It was small, minor, but it can be enough just to create a headache. So we're going to hopefully be doing some tricks up our sleeve there too. So all that said and done, like I said, for the US, because we get a lot of transports going now, we actually need 14 build to fill our 2 spots here, as well as be able to have our transports coming back to have people, as well as these transports to be able to come back to people. I am going to go ahead and just kind of give up the med, I think, at this point, simply because, all that Japan Air, he can move it in a position that makes it very awkward for me very quickly. So I do want to keep a small fleet down here against his bit here so that I can continue to drop transports down into Africa as needed, but the rest I'm going to move on over and help make us get a stronger fortification up here before all this Japan Air starts really leaking over this direction. Because if you think about it, if he flew all his Brazilian Japan Air over to be in range of C Zone 3, 6, 8, it would make it very hard for just these guys to even hold between the German and Japan Air. So, I mean, granted, the Japan fighters would be tough unless he gets back onto Northwest Europe as a stack. Anyways, I'm just pre-preparing for that issue. All that said and done, I don't want the Americans to be bored, so we won't. That should be enough to get the hit. We'll hold off on sending the last one. So I forgot to double check, but I can't imagine there'll be any problem that I can um, stack this with 2 bombers as well as move these guys, as well as move people up here to be from 2 bombers without needing my 2 planes, and I'm going to fly my 2 planes up to Sea Zone 3. I mean, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats there for his 2 bombers, so we should be able to stack those. Hopefully the battleship and cruiser can come up this way, and then that'll give us 2 carriers, 2 destroyers should be fine against 2 bombers down this way. Because eventually you want that battleship cruiser in range where they can bombard. Let's see, any other attacks? I think that might be the only U.S. attack. Yeah, nope, you're not doing that. Didn't even need the air to attack with. Rats. So, I think my U.S. tank's going to be right there. I want my U.S. infantry back to do some of that trading. And we're actually going to move these guys over that way. So we're going to give up West Russia. In hindsight, maybe if I brought those UK guys down and the US down and all my airplanes, I might have been able to actually stack all 3. It's too late now, but it may have been a possibility if I'd been planning better ahead. I like having my, obviously, all my air down here in striking distance so we can have quick kills. Pull him out of the way. We're not going to move into Egypt because he could smack him. There's 1 transport. There's 1 transport. The other one, this guy is going to go 1 and 1 down here, which means we got 1 spare transport for these guys, which means these other 3 transports need to come down this way. Oh, let me go back look at that again. I want to see where all I can go with him. Could go up here to help. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Couldn't hit that one, but we would still have the bomber. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'd have 1 bomber, 3 infantry that he could put 4 potentially in down there if he really wanted to. So, it would be nice to be up there. I'd rather have the 2nd bomber down here right now. So we're just going to bring him on down here. Oh, that's supposed to be both you planes. Hold up. So I was just debating whether I should move one of the carriers up here. But I think I feel good with what we're doing there. Because then next turn I can move one of the carriers there and fighters to protect against these guys. And another carrier here and or fighters down this way. So, I think we're okay. I think we're comfortable there. I think that's it. My mind's going 5 different ways at one time here, so did move all those guys. So many guys, I always paranoid I'm forgetting some people to move. So he'll have 6, he'll have 6 coming back. This guy will just have to build his own 2 fresh ones. So now we're starting to get some green going. Alright. Russia's turn. I want to take 1 second here. I want to double check my my dead zone of Novo because I want to make sure that we don't goof that up. Because I do want to make sure we have a dead zone of Novo still. Let's see. Does have that tank and all those bazillions of air. Let's just do that. Although, wait a second. I want to keep my Russians intact. I do have my 1 UK dude here that can walk over there to be the blocker before Japan gets their turn. So you're putting 2 in there. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna get. I was gonna try and at least put pretty good pressure on Ukraine, but I think we're just gonna go with the stack instead and worry about that later. So I'm gonna put 6 guys there. That'd be 28, 29, 22, 26, 27, 28, 29. So we should be good there. You know what? I'm gonna back up and pause the video for a second because I need to make sure that he can't march into West Russia now that I look at this and then use his air to stack that. Ah, crud. That's not a good. That's a no bueno. Alright. I'm going to back up and double check what I need to do to make sure I keep West Russia dead zone 2. I almost goofed, and I may have already goofed, that I have to sacrifice the tanks if I can't do that. Yeah, I think... Let's see what we got. We got 5 guys, so that'll give me 16 dudes there. We'll have our 5 tanks. We got 10, 12 fighters coming in. $19.62. Got 5 fighters that can hit. 3, let's see, 4 bombers that can hit. So we'll be good there, I believe. And I believe this will give me a 1-2 between all the Americans plus the fighters and the tanks that I could 1-2 if they tried to stack West Russia at a pretty good profit with having my artillery backed into there, which actually I guess I don't even need them backed into there. We can throw them on down here, right? Which also means I don't need to send my artillery there. Oh wait, no. Nope, 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 nope. I do want them back there because they gotta help with Novo as well. So we're gonna keep the artillery neutral so they can dead zone both West Russia and Novo. Oh, that was a little more complex than I was meaning for it to be, and I just about put myself in a rather tough situation. I do got someone going to West Russia. Yep, okay. Make sure I wasn't gonna give up West Russia all of a sudden. Four, 6, and 1, and that'll be the end of the turn. I'm going to pull up my spreadsheet for any of those that found it interesting real quick, because I'm kind of curious what round 11 looked like. Alright, and so I'm going to pull it on over here for those that are interested. So this is after the end of the round. This does not include the Russian turn, but here again you can see the progression. Again, this is total units, is this column. I don't know what's doing that to me, but anyways, total units, IPC value of units, attack power, attack strength, defense strength, my own little quotient number there. So you can see, again, negative is favorable for me for allies, positive is favorable for Axis. So it started here, and you can see round 1 went his way, round 2 we made progress, round 3 went bad. Round 4, we made progress in the negative. 5, we made progress. 6, made progress. Round 7 again went very bad. But then 8, 9, 10, 11, we've been slowly making all these numbers more and more negative to our allies' favor. And then the base army, he does still have a slightly stronger army, particularly defensively. I am winning the Air Force, and particularly defensively. And then Navy, I have the stronger Navy out there, which at some point I may need to take a look at doing some sort of utilization of the Navy to make things awkward from him. But I haven't really been thinking about that. So that's what it looks like now. So we've made some nice progress in all values towards our favor. So hopefully this is a winning game at this point. All right, so here we go into UK's turn. Germany bought 11 infantry. He's continuing to be just smart stacking up those infantry. It's going to be hard to crack him, to crack Germany, but we can see he did, as I expected, he moved to Belarusia, which I believe I am going to be able to stack Karelia and West Russia next turn. And then what we do over here, I'm not really sure yet. The good news is I don't have to decide that till US's turn, till I can see what Japan does. You know, my good thing about Japan and what I was kind of hoping for and worked out is he does have a lot of Japan, but he's got two stacks that are pretty far apart with the Russians wedged right in between them. And that's my goal, is to keep the Russians wedged between his two main stacks. Because the Russians alone can handle either one of these stacks individually. So that's my plan here, is to start pressing and trying to push and corralling, start shrinking Germany up now. And so hopefully we can stack here, stack here. Yeah, he put that AA there. That's a bit of annoying. And I should heed it, but I'm probably not going to. I'm going to send a fighter with a handful of infantry of Russia, because I need these tanks to blitz through on over to Karelia to help its defense next turn. So it'll be tight. Karelia's going to be a little bit tight, but I think we're going to be just fine in the end. And that's without me pulling any of these air back out of Kazakh. It may turn out after Japan's turn I'm not going to hold Kazakh, so I pulled them out and I'll hold it easily then. So, alright, so UK, they had 33 IPC. Oh, here, combat. So let's see. He lost 2 infantry, killed 5 of mine, so decent round of trading for him. You know, I like, you know, as Germany, as long as, you know, it's like 1.5. You want to keep 1.5 or kill 1.5 for every 1 you lose of the infantry. So if he lost 2, he'd want to kill 3, and so he killed 5. So he had a little bit of a bonus. That's just me speaking. There's no, I say we. That's me talking in my mind. So, all right. So we had 33 IPC, so I did decide to build 7 infantry and go ahead and buy another bomber. The bombers just are nice for the reach of being able to hit Japan and be starting to threaten Berlin, and maybe we'll start doing bombing raids eventually, since, you know, since hasn't had a single bomber shot down the entire game that he's been bomb raiding. Maybe I could have that kind of luck too. I know I shouldn't say that. But we will wish for and hope for the best. So here's the big thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to use these guys for something practical. And I looked at, you know, adding the bomber too, and just really going at it, but the bomber only adds like 2% increased chance of taking it. It's like an 85% chance or something like that of taking it. But what I'm looking for is to make it where he has to move enough where I have these 5 green guys and 5 green air and 2 more green air, so 12 US units that can hit there. And I'm going to put my other tank in here, my other UK tank, so that if the US hits it right after their turn, Germany can't do anything, so then the UK tank can blitz on through and just give them something they have to handle and deal with ultimately there. Although I do need to double check one thing before I completely do my move, because I think I counted on that UK tank being in defense down here, so we need to take him out. But I did put a few more infantry down here, so we should be fine. So we got 16 infantry. We'll have 12 planes. We will have a couple bombers in there too. So yeah, we're still plenty fine down there. So because I want to keep Corellia stack, I'm going to try not to use those guys too much. I need them for trading Baltic though. I looked at the infantry artillery. It's only a 5% difference. And since I got an all infantry load and I got another all infantry load, I'm going to kind of save my artilleries a little bit with UK right now. I think that is all the attacks. I know it's 3v4. I'm running a risk there, especially with how some of the dice have gone this game, but I mean, with this much air, it really is a strong attack. I mean, it's not just the game saying that to make me feel better. There we go, nice. Oh, very nice. Wow, okay, was not expecting that. Woohoo. I guess we get lucky every once in a while too. Oh, crud. I forgot this infantry was supposed to go block the blitz. I need to double check that what that blitz looks like now. I knew there was a reason I'd saved that infantry in Moscow. Oh, the paybacks. The paybacks. That's what I get for the good one earlier. Right when I start to feel good and then I realize I forgot my blocker and I forgot that. Alright, so we don't necessarily have to have all the fighters landing in Kaza. We got some flexibility here, so I think we're going to put a fighter or two in Moscow. I'm just checking to see if I can do one or if I can actually do two and still have Kaza fairly comfortable. Yeah, I can do it two, it looks like, and still have Kaza kind of comfortable. So we got 10 fighters, 2 bombers, 3 AA, 3 tanks still there because I want to bring him up here. 16 infantry. And he's got 19, 6, 2. Count all these airs up. This is a part I gotta watch out for. 5 fighters. These fighters can't reach. The bomber can. 1, 2, 3, 4 bombers. Alright, yeah, we're still at a 37 profit with a 24% chance for him on Kaza. And let's double check Moscow. This should be perfectly clear, right? I mean, he's got 2 tanks that can make it. Those 3 fighters can't. These 2 fighters can't. So he's only got the 3 fighters and still the 4 bombers. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so 4 bombers, 3 fighters, 4 bombers. And we've got 5 infantry, 7 artillery, 2 fighters in there. What's that look like? Gives him a 5% chance at quite a negative value. So, all right, we'll take it. Oh, don't forget this stuff. You know, might as well move him back out since we're not worried about them anymore at this point. So yeah, so we're gonna have the 7 U.S. infantry. We can build 2 Russians in there, so that's nine more joining the 12. So we'll have 21 plus the 6, so we'll have 27. We'll move the AA back over there. So we should be sitting good there, and we can always land a couple fighters and circulate fighters around or build a fighter here. And so we got options. So I think we're good. All right.